Hello, I'm Christine Schiavone, and our show is Spiritual Exploration. Tonight, we're going to talk about the healing of mandalas. Now, our audience may not know what the mandala is, and we will be very happy to explain it all to you because I personally, until last April, didn't know what one was. But now that I have found out what it is, and I know that it's a very spiritual instrument, we're going to do our show around it tonight. I would like to introduce to you my very special guest, Sam Borowski. And he is here to tell us all about the mandala and all about a movie he made about it as well. Hello, Sam. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Christine. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Before we go into the show about the mandalas, though, we want to talk a little bit about some awards that you and I have received.
That would be great. Awards are good.
They're always good, right? Well, first of all, I would like to say thank you to the Alzheimer's Foundation for their certificate of appreciation that they gave me recently. And because I've been working on their show, and their show is called Alzheimer's Awareness, and that is a show geared toward the caretaker of the Alzheimer's patient. And I, along with David Wiley, Joan Giebelhaus, Pat Brady, and Vinnie and Ellen Shortino, were among others that were honored recently with these certificates of appreciation. And I would like to say thank you for that, and I appreciate being appreciated. We all appreciate being appreciated, right?
We all appreciate being appreciated, for sure.
That's right. Now, Sam, tell us about your award here.
Okay, we've won many awards for this film that we're going to talk about, The Mandala Maker. And I was looking at like 4 various trophies and a plaque. One of them was a plaque at the 2009 Central Florida Film Festival for the best mini feature. I won for best short film, best short screenplay, all different various festivals. Some really big ones. We played in Film Columbia alongside Precious, which I'm sure you've heard of, won the jury prize and the audience award at Sundance. The White Ribbon, which won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. Big films. But I thought it would only be apropos to bring the award from the Staten Island Film. It's actually the SINY Film Festival here in Staten Island. We put the Mandala Maker in it, and lo and behold, we got the most nominations of any film in the festival.
And this is the award that they gave you.
And we wound up winning for Best Short Screenplay. The film we defeated in that category, that wound up defeating us in Best Dramatic Short, was on the Oscar list last year, the Oscar shortlist, Gone Fishing, and it actually beat Spielzugland, which won the Oscar. It beat Spielzugland in the Rhode Island Film Festival, which is an Oscar-sanctioned film festival, an Oscar-eligible film festival. It won that major film festival, and it beat Spielzugland. Spielzugland got the last laugh because it went on to win the Oscar last year in 2009 for the best live-action short. So, you know, to beat out Gone Fishing, a film on the Oscar shortlist, that beat the Oscar-winning film for Best Short Screenplay, to say our story was better, and for us to finish second in Best Dramatic Short, there's nothing to be ashamed of there.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
And we're proud of it, and it was Staten Island, and I thought it would be nice to bring the trophy.
Of course. I'm glad you did. I really am. We just viewed The Mandala Maker, and it was an excellent film, and it is up for an Oscar.
Well, no, let's
Academy
qualify.
Academy Award?
It's eligible for an Academy Award. By the time people are viewing this, they may or may not have listed the nominations, but only 71 films worldwide qualified for the Academy Award in Best Live Action Short category, which is the non-animated short films. And that includes the US, Canada, Germany, Ireland, England, Brazil, Japan, all these countries. Only 71 short films qualified. We were one of them.
That's wonderful.
And they narrow it down a couple times, made the first cut, and, you know, we see what happens. But just to even be qualified for the Oscars, and, you know, we keep our fingers crossed in this business always, but whether it's the SINY Film Festival, an Academy Award, we're going to be up for several in this major festival called the Accolade, several accolades, and we'd love to win one of those because the Accolade statuette is made by the people who make the Oscars, the Grammys, the Emmys. It's a gorgeous statue. It's got gold stars shooting out of it. A little different than this one. This one has sort of the Oscar base, though. And I've got various trophies and plaques. But, you know, the great thing about awards is that they kind of validate us in a way. It says that somebody really thought your film was worthwhile.
Absolutely.
And that's what you like. Just as when you were watching the film and your audience members, and one of them said it really touched them, it made me feel good.
Yeah.
And one of the local actors, Frank Dudley, that watched it, liked it. And some of the women in the crowd, you know, when they react to it, it really makes me feel good. It's like, wow, well, I've touched someone's heart. And that in a sense is worth as much
Makes
as
you feel good, sure.
Yeah, it makes you feel good, but it's worth as much as any award you could ever win.
I'm sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, as we were just saying, it's nice to see that people appreciate what you're doing.
Sure.
And that, that you're going somewhere with it. And you're not just spinning your wheels,
No, well, I mean, I have been rising the last couple of years, and I normally do features for theatrical release. And someone said, why would you want to do a short film? Well, part of it was for Academy Award consideration, but part of it was because I had a story to tell, a personal story.
Right.
About this, our main character, Naomi, the mandala maker. In many ways, she's based on a real person. Robin Phipps, who was originally going to play the role, injured her shoulder, and she's okay now, but she sang the songs that you heard in the movie, including the original title song, The Mandala Maker. She got her first producing credit, associate producer. I'm very proud of her. She's someone very close to my heart. And though she actually was an artist in addition to being an actress, in many ways, The Mandala Maker is her story. Not exactly, but I've took elements of her story.
Kind of based on her story.
Yeah, loosely based. And then I put elements from my story. And I also, my co-writer, Gregory Nissen, came to me originally with the idea of a girl. He's an artist who paints mandalas. And I said to him, Greg, what's the conflict? What does she paint to get over? Is there a tragedy? Well, she's a struggling artist, and not enough. You need a conflict in any movie. I said, you know what? It reminds me of a young woman I know who I love dearly, and I know her very well. And I think that this could be, I could take elements of that story and your story, and we write them and we make the Mandala Maker. But the beauty of the Mandala Maker, Christine, is really, it's about the healing, as you saw, not the tragedy so much, the healing.
Right.
And Robin actually came up with this tagline, the most powerful healing comes from within. I had two similar ones, but I wasn't quite sold on them. And she just said it to me one night, and I liked it. Put it on the poster.
Right.
Most powerful healing comes from within. And the theme that I think that runs through and through this picture is God helps those that help themselves.
Right.
Because, if you ask God for help and you sit on the park bench and you don't go and you don't look for a job, or you don't go to the doctor, you're not going to get you got to do something for him to point you in that right direction.
You have to show that you have the right intention.
Exactly. The most powerful healing comes from within. But, the whole thing is that anybody can dare to dream of a better life. That was one of my other taglines was, daring to dream of a better life. Anyone, like our character Naomi, can want a better life and can dare to dream of a better life. And I think that that's part of the whole message in the Mandala Maker, because two of the biggest one, I don't want to reveal the tragedy, but one of the biggest problems in America is depression. It's very clear that she's depressed over something
Absolutely,
in the movie.
you could tell yeah.
And, this is kind of where the mandalas come in. She's an artist, and art as a therapy is another message in the movie. But mandalas, if you ask psychologists, there's a real healing power to them. They calm you down. They get your juices flowing. And maybe the most legendary psychologist of all time, Carl Jung, really, really believed in mandalas, wrote books about them.
Well, tell our audience what exactly is a mandala and what does it do for us?
Okay, now, there are various definitions on what a mandala is, but there are these circular patterns in an artwork, and you start at the center and they come outward, and there's different circles, and how they're exactly painted is,
Depends on the imagination of the person.
It's like talking about this kind of blues or that kind of blues, but they're mandalas. They're either Tibetan or Indian in nature. And I was just going to say, you have a mandala
What do
here.
you suppose this is, Tibetan or Indian in nature?
I would say that's Tibetan. That looks Tibetan to me.
I won this actually at a psychic fair in Ohio when I was visiting my family last Easter. And I didn't even know what a mandala was until they were having door prizes. You write your name on a piece of paper and throw it in a bowl, and every hour they would pick some names, and one of them was me at one point, and I won this. And the only thing, I had no idea what it was. The only thing that I was told was that it was a focal point for meditation. Sure.
Now, when you look at it, it is a focal point for meditation. It's got the circles, and you showed it to your audience. The circles come in, and see how they go out? And it just it grounds you when you look at it. And and we'll flip it over like that, and then you can see it. And it sort of grounds you, the mandala. And, I learned about them when Gregory Nissen, the Staten Islander co-writer, came to me with this idea. And I was not into mandalas until he told me about them. And they've been like a blessing from God. I'm really, really interested in them. and I was just interested in the whole healing powers. In fact, there's a shot of Naomi looking at a book in one scene. It says the healing power of mandalas. And if you look, there's a mandala right behind her on the poster.
Right.
It's lightened, but it's a colorful kind of Pennsylvania Dutch motif that we had made specially for the movie. But, you know, I've done movies for theatrical release, and that includes a movie with Benicio del Toro, Academy Award winner Benicio del Toro. I did one with Rex that actually Robin Phipps was in, with Daniel Roebuck, who's in The Mandala Maker. But I'd have to say that this short film, The Mandala Maker, is as satisfying a project to me as I've ever worked on. It's a very special place in my heart because it was a personal message. It's a very different kind of film. I've been nominated in 2 film festivals for Best Director.
Wow,
Looks
that's
like
amazing. Yeah.
I think I'm going to get nominated in a 3rd. I just received word. So I'm, you know, and then qualifying for the Academy Awards. I mean, it's been such a whirlwind. 4 awards and counting.
Plus, you're going into to Hollywood next year.
Yeah,
in
I was
March.
tabbed because of The Mandala Maker. I was just selected to direct and produce a Hollywood film out there right in the Burbank area. Part Hollywood, part in Burbank. It's all on location, called Nightclub. And it's about a group of young teens going to USC who get jobs at an old folks home to put themselves through college. And it's right on Party Row. They think it'll be an easy job. They work the night shift. They get bored, and lo and behold, to them, they come up with this brilliant idea of starting a nightclub in the old folks home, and it's kind of a funny movie.
I'll bet.
Yeah, but it's got a nice message. I mean, you mentioned Alzheimer's. That's kind of a backstory in the movie. My mom, Joan Borowski, she suffers from Alzheimer's, and that's why we love every moment we get with her.
Oh, sure.
She lives with my dad, Sam Borowski Sr., but you know, this is a story that hasn't been told. And in Nightclub, they come to see that a lot of these older folks in the old folks home, they're people too, and they deserve the same kind of love and respect that we all deserve. It's all about, you know, humanity. But it's done through the vein of a silly comedy. There's a running homage to the movie Night Shift with Henry Winkler, because I loved it as a kid. And, you know, we've got a pretty great cast in it, major names. We're just signing them now. 2 of the major stars of the Disney Channel are going to be in it. Daniel Roebuck's going to be in it. We have some bigger names. I can't mention them because we're in contract talks right now, but they're big names.
Good.
And we may be getting a few of the major names from Night Shift in our movie to do cameos or supporting roles, so that would be great too.
Yeah, too. And you know what? You have to really interject some humor into just about everything. Anyway, so that sounds like it's going to be something really good.
Yeah, if you take yourself too seriously in this world, I think you know, you'll just get crazy. It's humor really gets us through some of the bad times. I mean,
Absolutely.
even that one scene that you saw near the end, I don't want to give too much away, but where she's starting to heal, and there's been someone who's been giving her a hard time, caused her to the point of a near breakdown at the beginning of the short film, and then she's fooling around with him, and you know, you have to see the movie. You did, but the audience, you know, you see the movie and you realize she's handling things differently. I will say the movie's playing the film festival circuit now, and will be as they see this. We're also doing one-nighters at movie theaters, restaurants. We're likely going to be playing, doing screenings at All-Star Cafe. They have a big screen TV and DVD, and I think we're going to do a screening where it's $25 to get in, 2 slices of pizza, soda, the movie, Q&A with me afterwards. It'll be a fun night. We may do that Christmas week. We're just setting a date now. It might be early in the new year. We're going to do one at Z1. One of my executive producers, Morty, he owns All-Star Cafe and is one of the owners of Z1, and we shot at both those locations in various scenes.
Z1 is that diner on Richmond Avenue.
Yeah, it's a
Yes,
diner
I've
and
been
kind of
there.
a club, but we use it as sort of an art club. Like if you go to New York City, they have all these wild clubs, and people say, why is she painting in a club? But they have places in New York City where you could hang out and people paint and they do artwork and they have drinks. Well, we originally were going to have her painting down by the 9/11 memorial, and we did film some by the memorial, even though it didn't make it into the film. It was very cold that day, the wind and the sound issues. And a smart filmmaker always knows, you know what, let's take it. And we had a cover set, which was at Z1, and it was gorgeous. And that was technically before it even opened. It opened the night that we filmed there, was their grand opening. So it was kind of cool that we were in there before everyone else.
Wow.
And you saw that logo in the back, Z1, when she's painting.
Yes, I noticed that. I'm saying, isn't that restaurant on Richmond Avenue?
And that, in fact, I asked you, you saw the scene with Daniel Roebuck. Did you notice anything different about his character?
And in what way?
Different from other people. Remember, he knows her name.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, he might have been a little psychic, huh?
Well, you're on the right track. When I wrote it, I envisioned him maybe as God. Maybe she was having a conversation with God. And I never say it is or it isn't God, but I envisioned him as God. And that's kind of what I hinted at. And some people pick it up and some don't. Some say, is he an angel? What's different about him? But I kind of see him as God. God comes down and talks to her at a moment. And if you notice, she trusts him. And because you know what the tragedy is, it's hard for her to trust. Yet she trusts, when he says her name, Naomi, he calls her by name, and she doesn't say, how do you know? She looks at him like this. And then she trusts him, and she just starts telling him all her problems. Which is kind of what we're meant to do with God, I think.
Well, absolutely, because once we talk to God about our problems, it's like a lot is getting lifted right as you're doing it.
Oh, absolutely. I think God is like your best friend. He wants to hear your problems. I heard someone say to me once, a very ignorant person said to me, you're not supposed to ask God for things, and you're not supposed to ask him for money. That's actually absolutely incorrect.
That's right.
You're supposed to ask him for everything you want.
Including money, if that's what you need,
if that's what you
want.
need. I mean, listen, money makes the world go round. We all got to pay our bills at the end of the day.
Exactly. I mean, if you're asking for money because you have to live, sure, of course.
Sure. Otherwise, it's like that movie Drag Me to Hell, and we got to go to the bank for a loan. And then she lies. She can help us with the loan. She says, no, I'll turn them down to get the promotion. I'll be cruel like the bank. And then we put a curse on her, and we're chasing her, and she gets dragged out. No, I'm kidding. But that was an actual movie Sam Raimi made. Drag Me to Hell. But, it won't get that bad. But, no, I mean, you're supposed to tell God what you want. I think that...
Yes. Talk to him. He wants us to
like
talk
the
to him.
Healing Mandala, which is a creation of God, or filmmaking, a creation of God. We have a vehicle to express ourselves. And in fact, I don't know if you caught it at the very end of my credits. It said right before the dedication to Robin Phipps. If you've seen the movie, and you see I dedicate the film to her. It says. Much thanks to God, the big producer in the sky. Without him, there would be no filmmaking. I put that on every film because I think it's great karma to put it there.
Oh, without him, there wouldn't be anything.
There wouldn't be anything, and I believe it. I believe it in my heart.
I do too.
But I think that, and it's not about me forcing my views on anyone.
Right.
Because I never tell someone anything bad.
No,
I'm just
you
there
can
if they
believe
want.
whatever you want.
Some people can't even believe I'm religious because I'm as big a party guy as there is out there. I'm a sinner too. But the thing is, it's to me, being religious or spiritual, it's about being a good-natured person. It's about being who you are, helping others. Not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. I mean, if you talk a good game and you don't help anyone, and you leave some guy stranded by the road and he dies, you're not really being a good person. And I see too much of that in America. It's a shame. One of the projects I'm working on, a feature film on the life story of Saint Rita. And in fact, I'll give you a little thing here. I actually carry, always, I think you know this.
Yes,
and I'm hoping I can dig it out. I have it. I carry Saint Rita's medal with me everywhere I go. I kiss it. I have a great relationship with Saint Rita. She brought me closer to God. But her story, if you know me, I mean, I like action movies. I like our good friend Lance Ray, horror films and action movies and superhero movies and James Bond. But to tell you the truth, I'm not the kind of guy who would normally do a movie about a nun. I came to know Saint Rita's story, and her story is as inspirational to me. And as, it's really open and relatable to anyone. I've told Catholics, Jews, transvestites, straight people, black people, white people, and they all get intrigued by the story. But, I meet a lot of people with a lot of money, and it seems to me, if you go to church every Sunday and you're a billionaire, why wouldn't you fund a movie about her life?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't, it seems, that's why I say a lot of people, they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. They don't want to do something for this world. Mandala Maker was not a cheap film. It was, it was a real budget. I can't say the budget. A magician can't reveal his tricks. But it wasn't, it was a real budget. It wasn't cheap. And we made it as a short. It was always intended to be a short. And I'll tell you, I feel like I brought a little beauty into the world with this film. If that's the case, I'm really happy.
Yeah, you should be. It was a good film. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Tell me, when you have a mandala, what do you actually do with it to help you heal or meditate or focus? You just sit there and look at it, or what?
Well, if you have an open wound, you rub it on your butt. No, I'm kidding. That would be something, right? No. If you let me see the mandala, I'll show you later.
Sure.
Generally, like if you see her in the movie, she paints them. The act of the painting them is really what with her. But a lot of people just like this, they look at them and they take it in and the beauty, and you see the circles coming out. There's a great point in the movie where Tony-winning actor, Beast from Beauty and the Beast, Terrence Mann, who's also been in all the Critters movies, star of the Critters movies, star of that show on the Sci-Fi Network, The Dresden Files. And he's been in many movies. Terrence Mann's a big star. Terrence Mann plays the museum curator, and he says to her, he's talking about the mandala, and he says, how it restores a new order, but in many cases, the new order returns on a higher level. He's talking about that circular pattern. But he's also talking about her life. The mandala is very representative of her and our lives, about how we lose things, but then they come back to us closer than they were before. And wow, because there's something going on in my life right now, that's actually a very poignant line. But
well, what kind of things do we lose that come closer now?
well, we can lose people from our lives and they need to take a break and go away from us. And maybe they come back and the relationship is healthier. Maybe we lose a job and then God has something better for us in store. I mean, this feature film has got a real healthy budget that I'm directing, and producing out there in, you give too good a spread before the show. Pretzel, Crutz, and Chicken. Where the Pretzel?
Burmeister's Chow, he's in the Black Dog now doing, he's the kitchen of the Black Dog on Forest Avenue near Silver Lake.
Their chow was good.
The chow is good,
It was like a chicken cutlet sandwich, but it was crusted with pretzel, not just bread. Very good. It had that salty pretzel taste, nice. And the hot chicken,
you mean the chicken marsala?
Chicken marsala.
Yes,
and the tortellini was great.
Yeah, the sauce, my God.
But I wanted to give them a little plug because I really enjoyed it. Plus, I was trying to cover up the little belch there, but, the little blip. But I doubt your audience missed it. No, we were talking about the healing powers of the mandala, and I think that the mandala is very representative of our lives. We lose people and they come back closer. Maybe they're not ready for a relationship. They go away. Either we part as friends or almost strangers. But then when they're ready, it's a beautiful, lasting,
sometimes people have to go their separate ways, and they have other relationships and
or not
whatever.
Even other. Sometimes they need time alone.
Or time alone,
and then
whatever
they come back
need.
to you, Christine, they come back to you, and they're ready, and then it's a lasting, loving relationship for life. Or you lose out on a job, and you think, God, why didn't I get that job? Or why didn't I get that Academy Award? Or why didn't I get... But what you don't know is there's something better in store for you. It comes back on a higher pattern, and you direct a $2 million movie, which... is not a lot to studios, but to us is a lot. There are things that come back closer on a higher pattern. He's talking about the mandala when he sees it, when he says that, but he's also talking about her life, which is why in the end credits, when we did that little Saturday Night Fever thing in the corner, that little effect, we put their picture right on the mandala, because the mandala is representative of their life, not just the movie, not just the painting, but their life. Their life is the painting in a sense.
Right.
Their life is the mandala. I'm getting a little deep here now, aren't I?
Yeah, well, that's okay.
This is spiritual exploration.
Yeah, right? We should be deep. So, so then you're saying that if someone has a mandala, they can get healing just by sitting and looking at it, staring at it,
I think that's part of it.
meditating on it.
She paints the mandalas, which is what gives
that
the
helped
healing.
her, yes.
But if we look at mandalas and we study them and we take them and we go to the Rubin Museum of Art, there's a wonderful display on mandalas going on right now, and we view them. I think that action of taking an interest in something. I said in a recent talk you and Frank came to, believing in something bigger than yourself. And I'm not here to preach and say believe in my God and my God is the God.
There's really only one God.
There's only one God, but people believe different things about God.
I know.
But to me, God's God. And if you believe in something bigger than yourself, however you believe in that God, I think a conversation about God's always a good thing. I remember all the furor when Passion of the Christ came out. I thought it was a wonderful movie. But regardless of what you believe in, and then people were saying, well, not this and that. It was violent. But that was a conversation about God. I thought that was a great thing. But I think that the mandalas are representative of that. It's a piece of artwork. It's a gift from God. And whether you paint them or you look at them, it's that action of taking part in something bigger than yourself. And if you walk around and you look at these mandalas, I can't tell you what you'll feel. I know that I've gotten a real appreciation of them, or as the British would say, a real appreciation of them. But and I think that, and if you ask psychologists across the board, a lot of them will tell you about the healing powers of mandalas. That's a book she's reading in the movie called The Healing Powers of Mandalas. So I'm really, I feel like we brought a little beauty into the world. We did a little good. And I think we made an entertaining film, especially with the little running homages to Saturday Night Fever in the film.
Right, yes. Do you think that mandalas are able to heal on all levels, mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical?
Well, I'm not God, unfortunately, although I'm a great-looking guy.
No, we all are God, really.
Well,
we have God in us. We're all extensions
you're quoting
of God.
our movie now at the end. It says, The kingdom of heaven is within you.
That's right.
Look inside. You are the Buddha. But I do think that they can aid. I think having a positive outlook, it's like if you've ever watched The Secret, I talk to people and they go, it's just a whole bunch of hooey. And I don't believe in that. I believe it. I mean, you can really put stuff out there in the universe and it happens. Now, it won't always happen as you want. You say, I'm going to put out, I'm going to win an Academy Award. You may win an Academy Award, or maybe you'll qualify and you'll be a finalist, or you'll get nominated, and maybe next time you'll win. But I mean, if you get nominated and you don't win, or you qualify and you're a finalist for the Academy Awards and you don't win it and you don't get the nomination and you're one of the top 20, only 5 get a nomination, what, you're going to go, oh, it didn't work for me? Well, I mean, you were one of the top 20 in the world.
Right, what do you
want?
want?
Sure, it worked for you.
Right?
You know, like, there was one guy in The Secret, he said to me, I wanted to make $100,000 on one book, and he wound up making $92,000. And he said, well, you know, I didn't make 100,000, but no one was saying it didn't work. You know, that's how it happens sometimes. Sometimes it's right on. And of course, if you pick something hard, but you know, whether you get halfway there or all the way there, 3/4 of the way there, you put it out there, and something good happened. I really believe in that positive mental outlook. And it's
Absolutely,
not,
yes.
and it's not easy in this world today.
That's true.
In fact, if we could show, I'd mentioned the running homage to Saturday Night Fever. One of them takes place when she's really depressed on the bench outside Saturday Night Fever. Could we show that bridge sequence that I emulated?
Maybe they can set it up. The DVD is on the counter in the
Or no, not the
room.
whole sequence, just the picture.
Just the picture. Is that
picture.
one of the pictures that you gave me?
Yeah, there's
Oh,
one
never
where
mind.
she's sitting, there's a bridge.
Oh, right. Yeah, we have the 2 pictures in the control room on the key cam.
And you
if
can
you
tell
wanna
me
put
when
it
it's up there.
Yeah.
And what I'll kind of talk through it. Tell me when it's up there.
Right. As soon as they get it up.
They
But
get it
those
up
are
there.
one of the 2 pictures that I left on the key cam.
You know, but essentially this kind of speaks to what we're talking about. Now, what I did
there's
was
one.
there's one. That's kind of not the picture though. That's a great.
That's a picture from the movie.
Yeah, that's a picture from the movie. That's
And this
in
is
the
when
Rubin
she
Museum
actually
of Art.
started to come out of her
When she
depression.
started to come out of her depression, yeah.
Yes.
But the other picture with the bridge, if they throw up there.
Right, they'll do that.
And in fact, that other picture, the little girl in the background was my niece, Emily McMillan, and my sister,
Aw, there
Patricia
we are.
McMillan, playing her mother, because she's her mother in real life.
Oh, there's the
That's where
Verrazano
she's-
Narrows
yeah.
Bridge, and that's
Yeah, now that's in Brooklyn on what they call the scenic view. That same angle is seen in Saturday Night Fever with Tony Manero, played by John Travolta, sitting on the bridge next to Karen Lynn Gorney, who's a friend of mine. But I only put our character alone, and she's replaying a conversation in her head. And when we see her from in front, she's crying. We don't have that shot with us, but I wanted to show it to you because she's so desolate, and she's looking out over the water and the bridge. And we filmed this in November, so it was chilly, and I think this was like 7:45 in the morning. But you know, she's so depressed there, she doesn't see a way out, and it's right before she paints the first mandala. But if you look at it, and I also want to show that to the audience because I always loved that scene in Saturday Night Fever, and I always wanted to say I wanted to emulate it because it's the first time you see his character where he's not some idiot off the streets of Brooklyn. He's not some jabip. He's a guy that
He's got some depth.
yeah, he's got some depth. He's talking about the bridge, and he had just said some nasty things to the girl. Met a guy that she had an affair with, and he's calling her all sorts of vicious names. And he sees her crying, and he didn't really want to hurt her. And so he says, I'm going to take you somewhere. She's like, no, man, take me home. Takes her to the bridge, sits down. He's like, you know, that tower is this many feet high, and there's a guy trapped. He got killed in the cement, and then they have a laugh. And
Yeah, we
but he
heard
starts
that,
saying all these factoids about the bridge. She's like, you know everything about that bridge. And at the end of the sequence, she gives him a little kiss. He tears up. John Travolta, I think one of the greatest actors of his time.
Yeah.
Tears up there. So I said to Courtney, I want to end the sequence just